Good morning, and a very warm one it is too. And I'm on Dexter, and I was considering going to the forest where she's been a couple of times on her own, but the flies are so bad up there, the horse flies, that there isn't a fly spray in the land that can protect the horses. So I'd rather not go, because I've already been bitten by a horsefly yesterday and it's quite swollen and painful. So there's plenty to do in the village, so that's where we're going today. Now, when I was on Dexter in her last CobCast, she was understandably, shall we say, not understanding of things very well, because she was, it takes a long time for a horse, once it's backed, totally backed, so that it's got no fear of the rider and it's had all the long lining and this, that and the other. But it's a big step from that to being less green. It takes a long time, and it's not traditionally, but increasingly that work from just backed to riding them on, as it's called, is done in a school environment, which really is, unless it's done awfully carefully, is not the best kind of location for these young horses. It's far better, especially for cobs who are less motivated in the school because they're heavier. It's so much better for them, their joints, their mental and physical health, to do what we're doing, and in a sense you get there quicker, because if we compare Dexter to another little horse of the same age who was also started at, well, roughly the same time, but actually before Dexter. So she was started a few months before Dexter and only ever ridden in a school. Well, in comparison, Dexter seems like a schoolmistress, and of course she's not. And she's not. But the thing is, she's had all this work outside, so she feels, in comparison, way less green than, the horse that's been done, an awful lot in the school, and is, she feels like she's just been backed, really. So in terms of proof, if you like, I mean, there is the evidence that riding them on this way gives them confidence and teaches them forwardness and a degree of independence that is just not, that you just don't get in the school in the early days. Now, Dexter is ready to do a little bit of very gentle schooling, and we will be doing that, and she's also ready to start learning about canter. Hey, good girl. They're making something there, and there's a car waiting for us kindly. So I'll just come past this car and then I'll continue. So where is Dexter now with her training? Well, she's still very much going on her own. She's fine with all this bush stuff now, because I was doing it for the first time on the last CobCast, so she's having a lot more of this. She's been to a lot more locations. She's been to the forest a couple of times on her own, and other parts of the village, not up the main road yet, but across into the northern part of the village where there's a bridle track and lots to see. She's not quite ready to go into open fields, and I say that because it's not that it's the reason for that is before you go into open fields, you really need to know that you've got the horse, and because her education is at the level it is, I don't necessarily feel that the rider has her, but every day it's working more towards it. So generally she has much more confidence. She understands forwardness now, whereas before it was sort of sticky, and that I thought it was her feet, which, because she's barefoot, which it is if the ground is stony. I mean, she doesn't walk like this, but really what it was, and had she had shoes I would have realised it sooner. What it was lack of confidence. You know, she just didn't have the confidence, so it's continually having to ride her. But now she has more understanding and more self-belief. She doesn't take me for a ride because that will take time, but if I ride her, she'll take me for a ride, if that makes sense. Whereas before I was taking her for a ride. Now we're sort of riding together. Now probably, one could go into a big field, but you see, the thing is, if you do something before the horse is ready and there's an incident, the horse doesn't forget. So what we try and do is make everything really positive, so to avoid an incident happening in the first place, so that when we do go to wherever it is that we're going, or do whatever it is that we're doing, it's not going to, I mean, you can never guarantee, of course, you never know what you're going to meet, or but when they're, shall we say, she's at the in-between point where she's ready now to do more things, but if you push it too far and there's an incident, well, you've put yourself back worse than if you never did it. So we're very aware, because we've had been there and know what can happen. So we try very much to avoid having an incident in the first place, and just make sure that every ride is a good one, so to speak. Good.